When comparing the seasons of long-running television dramas, there isn't much variety in terms of characters, actors, or even locations, with only the storytelling part that stands ever-evolving. However, with the American Horror Story, things completely change. A show that has launched more than 100 episodes has a plethora of factors pitted against each other. Here, we rank seasons of American Horror Story from worst to best. Number 1, Double Feature, 2021. The double feature season of American Horror Story is divided into two distinct parts, Red Tide and Death Valley. Double Feature was beset with delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic and received mixed reviews at the time of its release, with the finales to both parts often proving lackluster among fans and critics alike. While the series is never shy with the gore and tackles some interesting concepts, it ultimately has a lot of ideas that do not feel fully fleshed out, leading to an underwhelming conclusion in both. Number 2, NYC, 2022. Set in New York City. In the 1980s, this season's promotional materials leaned heavily on blood imagery, leading some to believe they might touch on the tragic rise of AIDS. Once viewers grasp this underlying metaphor, the narrative loses much of its mystery or suspense, following a more predictable trajectory. However, it delivers a significant twist with a remarkable two-part finale that stands out as both the most sorrowful in the American Horror Story repertoire and a showcase of some of the most captivating experimental filmmaking ever witnessed on cable TV. Number 3, 1984-2019. The season, although a classic American Horror Story season, failed to click. Its homage to Friday the 13th and other early 80s horror sensations seemed like it wasted the whole first half of the season, just watching people wandering from cabin to cabin, trying to not get killed in the worst possible way. There was a similar theme of every girl having to struggle to survive a horror movie, but AHS never went all the way. At the end of the day, the only fun part was the costumes. Number 4, Freak Show, 2014. The season had arguably the best first episode of any season, as it featured Twisty the Clown, murdering a pair of picnicking 50s sock hoppers with Elsa Mars doing an anachronistic performance of the David Bowie classic, Life on Mars. However, things went all downhill from there, with too many confusing angles. Number 5, Roanoke, 2016. The season scores for trying. The show within a show premise creates dramatic reenactments of its various horrors, including 2 killer nurses, predatory spirits, and the cannibalistic meth dealers who live next door. And the season's back half blurred the lines even further by putting the real people and the actors who played them back in the house for a reunion special called Return to Roanoke, 3 Days in Hell. It was interesting to see how the manufactured horrors of the first show compared with the real horrors of the second show. But other than that, both parts of Roanoke dragged on for way too long. Number 6, Hotel, 2015. Hotel is centered around the mysterious Hotel Cortez, documenting disturbing and paranormal events taking place on its premise. Lady Gaga made waves among the fan base when she joined AHS in Season 5, Hotel, in 2015. Gaga won the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, Miniseries or Television Film, while Hotel received a nomination for Best Miniseries or Television Film. The stylish, sultry series is packed full of twists, turns, and buckets of blood, but much like some mentions already on this list, this often overshadows the inner story, which fails to garner interest. Number 7, Apocalypse 2018. The promise of bringing the witches of Coven together with the Antichrist, born at the end of Murder House, was irresistible to fans and proved to be a boon for the creativity of the show. Apocalypse even went so far as to fulfill the promise of its title by actually blowing up the world with dozens of nuclear bombs in the season premiere. But thanks to a deft time-traveling spell, that promise was revoked by the finale. The entire trajectory of the season was sadly reversed as if it never happened, leaving us with another Antichrist and the prospect of doing this silly dance all over again. Number 8, Cult, 2017. The season was a much-needed political satire based on the 2016 presidential election. It was a keen observation on how anger can reshape politics and how fear can be manipulated to seize power. Remarkably coherent and concise, it stood out as one of the most focused seasons in recent memory. This is particularly noteworthy considering its inclusion of diverse figures, including radical feminist separatists. Number 9. Murder House 2011. The premise of Murder House remains the blueprint for every season that follows. There's a fascination with the price of fame, lust, and power, coupled with ambitious storytelling that follows seasons after seasons. Somehow, the first season is the one that does the most justice to the big bunch of stories effortlessly, something that can't be said of more recent seasons. American Horror Story doesn't exist without the foundation laid by Murder House, because it shows exactly what is supposed to be done. Number 10. Asylum 2012. The second season of an anthology often serves as the ultimate litmus test for its sustainability. Therefore, the fact that Asylum managed to elevate nearly every aspect of what Murder House had accomplished to an entirely new level speaks volumes about the season. From the opening abduction scene to the final televised confrontation between mother and homicidal son, there's a completeness and finality to Asylum that is satisfying in a way no other season is. Number 11. Coven 2013. The season centered around superpowered witches was predominantly devoid of male characters. When it premiered, Coven was the first time American Horror Story could truly be called a phenomenon, and with good reason. There is a style and, frankly, a swagger to the season that made it both accessible to the masses and effortlessly cool. The horrors are real, as the witches face the threat of the underworld and the messy business of mystical succession. With the abundance of sharp-witted remarks, catfights, and Kathy Bates's humorous portrayal of a severed head, the audience was thoroughly entertained. American Horror Story's latest season, Delicate Part 1, which premiered in September 2023, opened to mixed reviews. However, Part 2, which released in April 2024, drew considerable attention with performances from Kim Kardashian and Emma Roberts as Siobhan Corbin and Anna Victoria Alcott. While the show continues to create a legacy by portraying horror in the most terrific manner, which season, according to you, stands out the most? Do you think Coven deserves the number 1 spot? Let us know in the comments down below.